Hello students, welcome to this channel. My name is Dexter, and on this channel I teach my students the various topics in the English language. And for today's video we shall be looking at an introduction to the test of oral aspect in English language. Now a lot of my students have complained about this aspect, especially students preparing for SSC, JAM, NECO, and even international exams. They've complained about this aspect and they believe it's difficult. But I must say, this aspect of English is not as difficult as it appears. So on this channel, I shall be dissecting this aspect and simplifying it for you, my students, to make it easy so that if you are preparing for any exams or you know someone who is preparing for exams, you can refer the person to this channel. But remember, on this channel, we're not only going to be focusing on oral English, we're also going to look at other topics and other aspects in English language. For example, summary, grammatical structure, and vocabulary, amongst others. So on this channel, you have everything that you need as far as English language is concerned. So do well to subscribe to the channel and also like and share this video, but only if you want to. So at this point, we'll move to the objective of today's lesson. Today, we're going to look at introduction to the test of orals, just the fundamentals as far as this aspect is concerned. So let's look at the objective of today's lesson. What are you expected to know at the end of today's lesson? Well, let's find out. So at the end of today's lesson, you should be able to define oral English. We've been saying test of orals and oral English. What exactly does this mean? You should be able to define this concept at the end of today's video. Then the second objective for today is the importance of oral English. You should be able to mention the importance of oral English. Why do we have to study oral English? I've had some students, especially science students, tell me what is the need of learning pronunciations and sounds in English language. Of what benefit is it going to be to me as a science student? Okay, but I must say it's very important to everyone. Okay, so in today's lesson, we shall be talking about the importance of oral English to you. And the third objective is the differentiation between letters and sounds. A lot of students think that letters and sounds are the same, but actually they are not. So in this video, we shall be differentiating letters from sounds. And the fourth and final objective of today's lesson is the difference between vowel sounds and consonant sounds. There is a difference between these two concepts. So we're going to differentiate vowel sounds from consonant sounds in today's lesson. So these are the four objectives for today's lesson. So without further ado, let's proceed to our very first objective, which is the definition of oral English. What exactly is oral English? So oral English deals with the pronunciation of words and sounds in the English language. Okay, oral English deals with the pronunciation of words and sounds in English language. Now, what does this mean? It means that oral English is concerned with using your mouth to verbally articulate sounds or words in English language. All right. Now, English language has a phonetic system which comprises of different sounds that are peculiar to the language. Now, your ability to articulate these sounds correctly and use them together to construct sentences that sound in the correct manner in English is what oral English is interested in. Oral English wants you to pronounce properly, to pronounce the exact way as far as English language is concerned. It doesn't want you to pronounce wrongly, okay? It wants you to pronounce correctly. And you can only pronounce properly if you have an understanding of the sounds, the unique sounds in English. If you can pronounce them well, then you put them together to articulate polysyllabic words and sentences. But if you cannot articulate the speech sounds properly, you're not going to pronounce words correctly in English. And then you have a problem. So, oral English is interested in proper pronunciation. You must have an understanding of the speech sounds. You must have an understanding of the stress patterns of the intonation in English language. So that when you put them together, you will pronounce words and you will make sentences that sound in the correct way in English language. And that is why oral English is emphatic about speaking properly. Okay? So oral English is not interested in the spelling. Okay? It is not interested in the spelling. Rather, it is interested in the sounds. So in oral English, we pronounce and we listen. We pronounce properly and then we listen. That's our focus. Our focus is not on the spelling of the words, but our focus is on the pronunciation of the word, how the word sounds. Does it sound correctly? Does it sound the way it should sound in English? That is our focus in oral English. So if that is clear, we'll move to our second objective, which is the importance of oral English. Why do we have to learn the proper sounds of words? Okay, isn't shouldn't we just pronounce a word anyhow, so long as our listener can understand what I'm saying? Must I be particular about the proper sound? What's the purpose? Well, let's find out the importance of studying oral English. Well, the first importance of studying oral English is that it enhances your reading proficiency. It enhances your reading proficiency. If you are conversant with the sounds, the stress patterns, and intonations in English language, you will be an excellent reader. You will be a successful reader. And of course, reading is not something that is uh, peculiar to students of English or students in the humanities. No, reading is a basic literate skill that applies to every discipline. No matter what you study, should be able to read well. Okay, should be proficient in reading. And one thing that can make you proficient is a good understanding of oral English. Because if you are reading a script, for instance, and you come across three strange words and you don't know how to pronounce them properly, of course, you're going to pause, you're going to slow down, you might stutter, and that could affect your reading. But if you know how to pronounce the words properly, of course, you'll be eloquent and fluent while reading. So it's important to know how to pronounce words well, so that any word you come across while reading, you just pronounce it properly and you move on without any hesitation. So a very good knowledge of oral English will boost your reading ability. So that's the first importance. Now, the second importance of oral English is that it makes you a good communicator. All right? If you are proficient, you are good in oral English, you'll also be a good communicator. Because as a communicator, you'll be able to pass your message to your audience or to your listeners in a more relaxed way because your pronunciation and your intonation and your stress patterns are on point. So it's easier for you to pass your message to your audience and they would comprehend what you say much easier than someone who has very poor pronunciations. If you don't have mother tongue interference while speaking, your message will be clear to your audience. There will be clarity in your expression. But if you have mother tongue interference, of course, that could distort and affect the message you're trying to pass to your listeners and to your audience. Okay? So it's important to be conversant with the pronunciation patterns and the stress patterns in English, and even the intonation patterns in English, because they will make your speech, they will make your communication skills better, and you would have a smooth communication with your audience. So it's important to boost your understanding of oral English because it will make you a good communicator. And finally, oral English can also boost your confidence. Yes, it makes you very confident because if you know that you are good in pronunciation, okay, you can pronounce words well, you'll have the confidence to address an audience without fear. Okay, you know that, well, I can pronounce well, so no one is going to embarrass me. No one's going to tell me that, look, this thing you just said was not pronounced properly. This is the manner it should be pronounced. No, because you know that you have a good understanding of pronunciation. So it boosts your confidence. It makes you a charismatic speaker, and you can address anybody or any audience, no matter how large or no matter how influential the listener is, because you know that, yes, when you speak, the person will admire you. The person will know that, yes, this person has a good pronunciation ability. So it has a way of making you charismatic and boosting your confidence and giving you an overall um, general sense of belonging in your society. So, regardless of what you study, whether you're a doctor, whether you're an engineer, whether you are whatever you study, okay, if you can pronounce properly, your confidence will be at a very high level, and that will also make you ascend in your um, respective careers. So, these are some importance of studying oral English. So, right now, we'll move to our third objective, which is differentiating letters from sounds. A lot of scholars think that letters and sounds are the same, but they are not the same. So we are going to differentiate letters from sounds. What is the basic difference between letters and sounds? Now we start with letters. Now, letters are alphabets that enable us to spell words. Okay, so letters are alphabets that enable us to spell words. For example, the letter A. That's the letter A. Okay? So letters, they are alphabets from A, B, C, D down to Z. They are all alphabets. And their job is to help us spell. So if I say spell apple, for instance, you would give me some letters to spell the word apple. Okay? And you will say A, P, P, L, E. Now, these are letters, okay? These are letters, and we use them to spell the word apple, okay? So, letters are used to spell, all right? However, sounds are not used to spell, okay? Sounds are not used to spell, but letters are used to spell, but sounds are not used to spell. So that's the difference. Then what do we use sounds for? If they are not used to spell, what do we use them for? Let's find out. In the case of sounds Sounds are phonetic symbols which enable us to pronounce words. Can you see? So sounds are phonetic symbols which enable us to pronounce words. For example, B. Yeah, that is B. This right here is what? B. It is not a letter. It is not letter B. No, it is the sound B. Okay? So sounds help us to pronounce. The key word here is pronounce. In the case of letters, we said letters do what? Letters help us to what? To spell. The key word for letters is spell. But for the case of sounds, the key word here is what? To pronounce. So that's the difference. All right? So we have vowel sounds, we have consonant sounds in English language. That is the phonetic system. For the letters also, we have vowel letters and consonant letters. They are both different. Okay? So if I say pronounce the word apple, okay? You're going to give me sounds now because we use sounds to pronounce. So if I say pronounce the word, the letters apple, you're going to give me sounds. First of all, you give me the sound ah, then another sound p, then another sound o. Okay, that's apple. Okay, so we have the ah, we have the p, and we have the o. These sounds are used to pronounce apple. Can you see? So sounds are used to pronounce. But if I said spell, if I said spell the word apple, you would give me letters because they are used to spell. And then you say apple. But if I said pronounce the letters apple, you would say ah, you would say p, and you would say oh. Now, these are the sounds that we use to pronounce apple. So that's the basic difference between sounds and letters. Okay? For letters, they are used to spell, but sounds are used to pronounce. Now, when you want to indicate a sound, as you can see, the sound here, b, you use these, the sound must be sandwiched by, okay, two slashes. One slash here, another slash here. You sandwich the sound by two slashes to indicate that it is a sound. If you don't put these two slashes, then you are saying that it's a letter. All right? But once you put these slashes, you are indicating that it is a sound, B. So without this, it will become letter B. But with this, we know it is B. It's a sound. So you must indicate that in oral English. Don't forget, today's video is just introduction. All right? So we're not really going into detail. But from subsequent videos, we'll look at topics under this aspect and we'll treat the sounds, the vowel sounds, consonant sounds, and everything, stress patterns in this channel. So look out for our subsequent videos. But for today, I'm simply introducing the fundamentals to you so that you have a better understanding when we start looking at the topics. So if that is clear, I think the last objective for today's lesson is differentiating consonant sounds from vowel sounds. Okay, so let's look at the difference between consonant sounds and vowel sounds. So, of course, when doing oral English or the test of orals, our focus is always on sounds, okay? We are not interested in letters. Letters could be for grammar or vocabulary, okay? But for oral English, your focus should be on sounds, all right? The speech sounds. And the speech sounds can be broadly divided into consonant sounds and vowel sounds. So whenever you are answering a question in oral English, do not focus on the letters because the letters can confuse you, the letters can distract you. Rather, your job is to pronounce and listen so that you can identify the sound that is present in the given word. And sounds, speech sounds, can either be consonant sounds or vowel sounds. So let's begin. How do you differentiate consonant sounds from vowel sounds? How do you know if a sound is consonant or how do you know if a sound is a vowel? Well, let's begin with the consonant sound. So a consonant sound, as consonant sounds are produced with obstruction of the airstream by any organ of speech. Consonant sounds are produced with obstruction of the airstream by any organ of speech. That means when you are articulating or pronouncing a consonant sound, there's bound to be a blockage, either a partial or complete blockage or obstruction of the air. Now, the airstream is the flow of the air from the lungs outside the mouth or the nose. Okay? While you speak, the air flows from your lungs through your windpipe outside, okay, your mouth or your nose. That is the airstream. Now, if the sound you're pronouncing is a consonant sound, there's bound to be a blockage, either a partial blockage or complete obstruction of the air as it comes out by any organ of speech. Maybe the tongue, maybe the lips, or any organ of speech. All right? If that happens, you know you are articulating a consonant sound. For instance, when we said b, the b. Now, in the sound b, you see that the upper and lower lips come together, okay, to obstruct the air. And you have to push the air out from that obstruction. You go b, b. So the upper and lower lip will come together and you have to push the air out through that obstruction. So that will tell you that b is a consonant sound because it is produced with an obstruction of the air stream. All right? But in the case of vowel sounds, now let's come to vowel sounds. Okay? Vowel sounds are produced without, okay, without obstruction of the air stream. Okay, so vowel sounds are produced without obstruction of the air stream. That means whenever you are articulating a vowel sound, there is no blockage of the air. There is a free flow of the air from the lungs through the mouth or the nose. Okay, it comes out freely. There is no obstruction of the air by any organ of speech. For example, when you say ah, you say ah, all right? You discover that the air comes out freely and there is no obstruction or blockage of the air by any organ of speech. So if that happens, you will know that you are articulating a vowel sound. All right? So that is the basic difference between consonant sounds and vowel sounds. For consonant sounds, when you produce them, there is a blockage or obstruction of the air by any organ of speech. Okay? Like your b, like your g. Okay? You know, there's blockage of the air. You have to force the air out through the obstruction. But in the case of vowel sounds, okay, there are no obstructions of the air. Okay? So when you say ah, when you say e, all right, the air comes out freely without any obstruction of the air. That is how you differentiate consonant sounds from vowel sounds. So that brings us to the end of today's lesson. I told you at the beginning that today's lesson is simply an introduction to this aspect of oral English. From our next video on this aspect, we shall be looking at the sounds. Okay, we shall begin with the sounds. We shall be starting with the vowel sounds, right, and monophthongs. We shall look at the pronunciations. We shall look at the identifications, their words that contain the sounds. Okay, we shall start discussing the sounds properly. But today's video was simply an introduction so that you have an understanding of oral English, why we study oral English, and differentiate the basic concepts so that when we start, you'll find it easy and it won't be confusing to you. So today, we set out initially to define oral English, which we've done because oral English is interested in pronunciation, okay, the proper pronunciation in English language. And we looked at the importance of oral English for your confidence, for your reading proficiency, and making you a good communicator. It's the reason why we're studying oral English. And we also differentiated letters from sounds. We said letters are used for spellings, while sounds are used for pronunciation. And we also looked at the difference between vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Vowel sounds is produced without obstruction of the air. For consonant sound, it's produced with obstruction of the air by any organ of speech. So I believe today's lesson was clear. If you have questions for me, please leave your questions in the comment section below, and I will address your questions. Please don't forget to like, share this video, and also subscribe to my channel, but only if you want to. So thank you for being there, watching the video. I really appreciate. Hope to see you in our subsequent videos. Until next time, have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.